Morning, everyone. I'm Luke.
And I'm Mark, and we're coming here live from the Bungie Studios. Yeah.
It is, if you've been on the internet the last few days, it is the leakiest ship on the internet.
It's true.
Yeah.
So
Nice.
what we've got today, we've got a cool show lined up for you. Behind us, you can see Dado getting ready. Dado, Ben, and Catherine.
Okay, he
We're
said
going to talk
he's
about
coming.
Destiny 2
Give
Shadow
him
Okay, nice.
1 or
the
2
next
minutes.
chapter coming out this fall.
I think
But
Gamer
first,
knows
let's
more
take a look
about
at
it.
What do I do? What?
Looking
Destiny
to the
2 raid.
future always brings us back
It was recently, right?
to the past.
It came out
Can you
on
feel
Tuesday.
them?
Yeah.
I can still hear their voices.
And I'm watching the Destiny 2 reveal now while we
Their
play,
endless
so
torment reshapes our moon.
since they're
Green.
revealing the entire September and
Nightmares
year
now
3
stalk the
stuff right now.
surface,
Oh,
walking
you mean something
shadows,
like that. Yeah.
seeking vengeance.
We're going back to the moon.
Our old fears,
It's exciting.
they rise again.
I tried it out, but never got into.
And in the dark below,
I have no idea if people can actually
Something
hear
wicked.
everything I have going on the stream, but whatever.
I don't hear anything. This week will be in general
must
very
bring
exciting
an end to this
because of
suffering.
E3.
One way or another.
Anyone
no
is
confirmed.
watching something
So
specific
question
during
on
the E3?
everyone's mind, since Bungie's gone,
I'll be
Uh,
watching a
independent
bunch of different
and
stuff
is in,
throughout the
complete
week.
control of Destiny's future. We're publishing the game now. We're
The only
independent
thing I was
company.
waiting for was
Is now
Sony
what?
conference.
What's the plan?
Yeah.
Where
There
we're
isn't
headed?
one.
I'm done with E3.
So the way that we talk
Yeah,
about
there
where we're
isn't one.
headed is like the way we've talked about over the years is what's the vision for what we're trying to do.
Okay.
So the vision for Destiny going forward, the Destiny franchise, is contained in like 3 parts. The first part is being an awesome
Honestly,
action
usually
MMO.
it was Sony
Yeah,
who make
like,
different.
we've been worried about that term for a long
But-
time. You know,
but-
we've shied away from
Hey,
using it.
Alex.
Yeah, because it comes with a lot of baggage. It's like, does that mean it's a subscription game, or you
Yeah.
got to play with a mouse and keyboard or whatever? But like, man, you know, this is one of those things. We're on our own now, and it walks like a duck, quacks like a duck. It's a duck. Like we can accept the fact that this is what the game
There's
is.
like duck emojis out in the chat right now. But like when we say MMO, we don't mean like subscriptions. We don't mean subscriptions. We do mean 2 things. The first part where we're lacking right now, and we've like been getting better. Forsaken certainly adds to it, is improving the RPG.
Yeah, we really, want
As
deeper
you
build
are on
customization
the
for our
demolition
players and
set,
for the
right?
characters. You're creating these
The
monster
what was
killing machines,
negotiate,
and
I
you want to
think,
make them
yes.
your own, and
Who
we
are we
can do
waiting
a
on?
lot more there.
So a
Interesting
bunch of what we're doing
how
this
it
fall
works.
is going to be about
Silence
adding
waiting
the
for him to
stats
invite.
back into the game, RPGing
come
the
online.
game more than it was. And D2 launched
I
away. Forsaken
planned
improved it,
on
and we think
using the
Shadowkeep's gonna take that
Merciless
kind of to the next
doing
level.
the trash
The second part about
ones,
what we mean when we say RPG
and
is really important to us. It's about improving social. Like this is a place where it can be hard to find
the last
grouping,
boss.
It can be hard to make friends in Destiny. And we've been saying for
Otherwise, I
years,
will just
as we've
go
been, like,
to
dodging the
LGs.
MMO term is like it's a game
Yeah, I'm
best
actually
played with your
curious how it
friends.
works
And so
out.
this
I
is
just
one of the
only saw
things
a
that
video, it
on the long
looks
horizon of the
quite
Destiny franchise, like, we have to improve the social game.
With the
Yeah,
merciless
and I just want to take a moment to say,
negotiator.
this isn't changing anything about
It's
the core
great.
action game of Destiny. Like it is
Especially
so
someone
fun
else
and
uses
amazing to
messages as
shoot
well.
monsters
It's
in
even
in their
better.
heads, getting headshots,
Yeah.
to see their souls escaping their
Gonna
body,
buff
and
each other.
slip behind cover. Like at its core, Destiny is an action game, but we're also not afraid to say it's an action MMO, and that's where we're headed. We're taking steps there this year.
And so part 1 of the vision, awesome action MMO. Part 2 of the vision for Destiny going forward is a single evolving world. And we have been close to the mark in some ways and far off in others. The way we've been close is stuff like what happened in Forsaken when Raid Team goes into the Dreaming City, they kill Riven, and they launch this Dreaming City cycle that like transforms the world. And we think that's awesome, and we want to do more things like that.
When the community gets to come together and
Donate
discover
weapons
secrets
for the frenzy
and solve
talent.
problems and
Of
push the world
course.
forward and push that narrative
Fuck
forward,
you.
that's when the game really feels like
If
it's
y'all
not a
wanted
game,
to
but a
launch in,
real
we could at
world.
least get into
Like
it.
for people who don't know some of where I came from, like in my time in WoW, the Scarab Lord Gates opening event was this moment that brought these huge communities together.
I've never heard of that.
It became this awesome event, and I think the potential of what we're trying to do with Destiny is create moments like that create bonds between players and let players work together to change the world. The third part of the vision here is play it anywhere.
Yeah, we want you to be able to play Destiny anytime, anywhere with your friends. And we're definitely going to take steps here this year. And the first one.
Well, I don't know which first you want to do. Like, we're just coming off of the Stadia announcement,
Nice
which is
build,
our partnership
Scruffy,
with Google.
but you are not
so
as
with
good
Stadia,
as me.
Destiny 2 is coming to Stadia this year.
Look at my build.
Which is going to be awesome because
I'm building
it means
the
you're going to
same
be able to play Destiny anywhere you have a Chrome
Alright,
browser with their
that's
controller,
good.
and that's going to be just incredible. For
That's
our community.
great.
You're not going to have
The
to
clutch
lug your
browser
PS4
is
home to your
really
mom's place at Christmas anymore. In case Zura's selling One-Eyed Mask or whatever.
Wait,
Like,
what?
that's not a promise.
You know who's been talking about this all the time? It's like Scott Taylor.
Clutch
He's
Berserk.
constantly talking about where he's going to
Clutch
play. Can't wait to
Berserk.
play on my. Just lists a litany of devices that
With
he wants to
AR.
play. He wants to play Destiny on. And he's just
And that
super
story's just cracked
fuck?
wide open with Stadia.
Critical
So we're
chance
super
build.
excited about that because it lets you literally play anywhere.
So it's a great fit for the vision. And then the next thing, do you want to just jump? Like we have like our set list that we're moving through. And so the
Assault
next thing on the
Airport.
last, there's been a little bit of talk about over the
I'm
last
looking forward to the
24 hours.
heroic
Like, maybe you want to talk
version
about
of
cross
this raid.
Oh yes.
So yeah, cross
think
save
we all
is
get
coming
butt
to
raped.
Destiny 2 finally.
I don't care.
And, we're
I can-
super
I can
excited about
wipe
that.
100
Cross-save
times.
It is about taking
I don't
Guardians of the
fucking
Galaxy
care.
and being able to play them on
What
any
did
platform.
we give you?
And we
Heroic
are,
version?
super excited about
Nothing.
that. And
It's
we know
not
fans have
even
been asking for a
official.
long
It
time.
was-
And
Yeah, it's not
Like
contrary
data
to
mined,
maybe what you've
something
heard on
like
the
that.
internet, because I just want to be super clear about this.
But
Cross-save is
since
coming
now,
to
even on
all
achievements, it
platforms.
says clear
all of them.
normal version. I'm pretty
PlayStation,
sure they will
Xbox,
introduce sooner or later like hard,
PC,
challenge,
and
heroic
Stadia.
to it as well.
And
There's some
people clapping in the
there's a-
studio.
That is, we do not
that's
have an
sick.
applause
That
light.
makes
That's
me
just
so happy.
enthusiasm of the
Yeah.
team.
So we're super excited about that. And Bungie and Sony are working together to ensure that cross-save is coming to
fucking
PS4
thing.
when Shadowkeep launches.
For like years,
Oh,
we
there
would
you
go.
go
Just
to
play
do interviews with
your
with companies.
Guardians
We'd,
and
like, dodge this
Destiny
question so many times
on
about,
any
like, which platform
platform,
do you play on? Which
full
platform should you play
cross-save
on?
wherever your friends
compatibility
are.
now.
Our answer has always been like, oh, we're gonna like message back to like, yeah, the best place to play Destiny is where your friends are. But cross-save makes that statement
Heavy on
actually
left.
true because you can go from PC to PS4 and wherever you want to play the game, wherever your group's rating is where you can
So
play.
you've probably seen reports on the internet, and that may be
Oh,
different
man,
to
so
this.
many buffs.
There's a
Oh,
reason
yeah,
we do
gimme,
these shows
gimme.
live. So.
It's for the really awkward.
Give me all these
Yeah,
stuff.
It's for us like stammering back
Yeah,
and
the
forth.
buffs are great actually.
So the next thing on our list here, do you want to talk? Let's talk about.
Yeah, like
A new entry point.
when we think of anytime, anywhere, that third part of the vision, cross-save,
Segmatic
Stadia,
on right
those are
side.
parts of it. But we have some real barriers to making that totally true and really
Heavy right side as well.
making that a reality. When Forsaken came out last year, for instance, look in the first-party stores. There's like 9 different versions of the game. You need like some kind of decoder ring to figure out what you're supposed to purchase.
Doggy.
It's like just way too confusing to figure out what you're supposed to buy.
So the reason, our answer to this like big problem is, what if we just create a free entry point for the game and create a brand new way for players to, a brand new-ish way for players to enter the universe, but there's still this problem of, oh gosh, I've got like 40 hours of game to play. I've got to like get through these campaigns, which are cool, but that's not really the part of the game that matters if you're playing for
Like,
hardcore reasons.
In the season of Opulence, Menagerie just came out. It's a 6-player match-made activity. It's awesome. I love playing it. But
Is
if
that
I'm going to
everyone?
recommend it to a friend who's not playing Destiny,
Yep.
it's
Yeah,
like,
that
well, you
one.
got to buy this version of the game, then you buy this other version of the game, then you got to play all that. And I'm not going to play with you because you're doing old stuff. And so it's going to take, it becomes hard to recommend.
So
we need to fix that.
So the answer to this problem is New Light, where once you enter New Light, in 10, 15, 20 minutes, you now arrive at the part of the game that matters to you and your friends, where you're like jumping into Gambit, Crucible, etc. This is about crushing the barriers between friends and making it a game where you're like, there's something awesome happening in Destiny. I'm gonna go check it out.
Alright,
And New
let's
Light's
do this.
totally free.
It's free. You download New Light, create this character. Within 15 minutes, you're playing
already?
Gambit with your bros,
Sure.
running around the EDZ and discovering lost sectors. Like, you're having a really fun time.
So the other
No,
part of
ni
this, like,
damo.
this like handshake is the way we're thinking about selling the game differently now. We have for years had this like compounding purchase model, even something like the annual pass, which I think we've learned a bunch from, and we have plans for how we're going to iterate on it over time. It meant that up front you had to spend
Boomer's on his
$35
way.
rather than maybe purchasing things a la carte.
He's on
and
me,
that
so I'm gonna come on
strategy
over to
is a strategy
41.
that we're changing now
Oh,
that
he changed.
we're in control.
Yeah, if you think of
Ah,
New
start
Light
at
like
45.
a baseline,
41?
we're thinking about
45.
content
Ah,
kind of
okay,
like
45.
you know,
We'll do
iconic
45.
packages that go on top of that. So Destiny 2 Shadowkeep
Get
is
ready.
completely standalone.
Damage
It's
phase,
an
damage.
expansion pack, and it's standalone. It's an
I can hit
expandalone,
him.
I guess is what you would call it.
You don't need to play Forsaken.
The
you
shit
don't
is
need to
so
play
heated
Curse of
now.
Osiris, Warmind. You don't have to have
far
played
away,
Drifter.
but
None of
with
it.
the
Just
Buy
shots.
and you jump right in. But we want to do that with seasons too.
Is that me?
And so
Somebody
going
on
forward, our
Fontana?
seasons, you're going to be able to jump in and have a great free experience, and that's awesome. But if you want that, access to
His
some of the
chest
premium
is
content,
down.
you can jump in
Wolf
and
is on
buy
you.
that
Anyone on
season,
45?
season 8
Yeah.
separately from
Here's
season 9.
7.5.
Yep.
Get ready.
So another
Damage
part
phase.
that we have had trouble with over the years is answering questions around things like
Yeah,
exclusive
yeah.
content,
Coming on over to
Okay,
41.
exclusive activities,
Kill Edson
exclusive
41
weapons,
and around.
things like this, and those things violate
I'm
kind of that
coming.
second part of the vision, which is that single evolving world. So
It's C.
going forward and beginning this fall,
Single
Using
community
it.
of players where
Yeah,
everyone can be
yeah.
together, but you're like, well, let's play this strike. Oh, sorry, I don't have that strike on my
DPS?
box.
On the
so we
tower?
want to
Healing,
remove those
healing.
barriers. And now going forward, there's going to be no more exclusive activity content, no
Yeah.
exclusive gameplay things like exotic weapons. We're not doing any of that stuff going forward.
Yeah. So there's
Forward
one
to
more thing that
45.
I'm going to share before we're done is that
Okay, that's
this
at
year,
45.
Destiny 2 on PC needs to find a new home.
Some would say we need to find an epic partner.
Yeah, and so we need to find a
Get
new
ready.
home, and because we're self-publishing
I'm on.
Destiny
Yeah,
now, and we're truly on our own, and so Destiny 2 is going to be coming to Steam. And this means that
Okay.
anyone
41.
currently playing Destiny 2, they're going to be able to come over to Steam, free of charge. They're going to continue their accounts.
Okay.
They're going to continue all their possessions. Going to move over. Any licenses they had, any DLC, like whatever, it all comes over. And Shadowkeep, the D2 expansion that's coming out this fall, is going to be shipping exclusively
his chest.
on Steam this year.
Come
It's
on.
kind of like when you
Oof.
relocate for a job, and they relocate you, and like a van shows up at your
Laptops.
house and
BNC.
loads your stuff, and then takes you
BNC.
and show up at your new
I will
house,
do
and
B.
it's all there. But this time we're
C.
gonna like unpack it and move you over to Steam.
How exactly this is all going to happen? There's going to be a website on.
Don't
Bungie
forget
that's
to
more
subscribe.
detail.
He's on your gamer. He's on your.
But we want the transition to be really seamless
down.
for
Oh,
players
nice one.
and a really good experience.
So a thing that we want to try to do to wrap all of this up is like do the like
He's
Instagram
still
cut
on
down
me, so
version
I'm gonna
of
head on
everything we
over
just
to
talked about in like 20 seconds. So the vision for
45.
Destiny
Oh,
going forward is
45,
pretty
yeah,
simple.
try
It's
to
an
clear it
awesome
to
action
45.
MMO in a single evolving world that you can play anywhere. By playing anywhere, that means cross-save across all of our platforms. We have a new platform that we're adding this year, Stadia. We have a new entry point for the
Get
game.
ready, get ready, get
Destiny
ready.
2 New Light, which is free, and everything we add to the game is going to be purchased a
There you
la
go.
carte going forward. So Shadowkeep, Season 8.
Oh,
Let's say
watch out for
in
ads.
Season 8 we start to lay the foundation for some changes we want to make to PvP, but it doesn't tempt you to come back yet.
One more,
Or maybe in
45,
Season
41.
9 we'll have something that's going to make you want to come back for
Try to
sure.
deal with ads
No
at
more
41.
exclusives going forward for us in terms of gameplay and armor and weapons.
Oh,
and
shit.
if you're playing the game on PC, we're moving you to Steam.
Go for his chest. Go for his
That's
chest.
kind of like our
guys,
that's
chest.
like that's the
Yeah,
end of the
chest
set
down.
list. The encore, if we're carrying
not a
the music
laptop.
going forward-
You ready?
Hit him, hit him, hit him.
I think it's more
Kill
than
him now.
Yes, yes, yes.
yeah, actually, we are like we're the
go.
opening
Yeah,
act.
they've been watching two dudes talk to you for 12 minutes or whatever.
So, the main event is coming up. Dato's behind us getting ready. But first, let's take a look at a new Vidoc called Out of the Shadows.
This
Sweet.
really is the beginning of a new era, and I think
I'm just
beginning
curious,
is an
do you
important part
notice
of that
any of the
sentence.
aces and aces?
Yeah.
Close.
I got an ace eight
first
blue
time I think
twin.
that in a long time
Oh,
Vidoc
yeah.
stood kind of on
I
its own.
have seen them. I didn't feel it, but I've seen them.
Okay. Well, for quick attacking
When we're
weapons like the
self-publishing, it's a really
100%
big deal.
damage, it's just 5 bullets,
There's a huge opportunity
the
here
double
for
ammo
us to
section is-
really make our
Okay,
own
I'm pulling the
decisions.
switch.
It's a turning point for us. We are in charge of our own destiny. It's empowering and terrifying at the same time.
There
Y'all
are
hit the
only
switch
two
for the key?
groups who are going to
Yeah, we
decide
got it.
what happens to Destiny next. Bungie
Yeah,
and the players who
key.
play Destiny.
What?
Disconnect or...
Yeah, disconnected.
I didn't check
unfortunately.
to see how many keys I have. That puts me at 4.
I have 3.
Yeah, so I have
Yeah, 3.
So
Ah,
at its
the
core,
dark
Shadowkeep
below!
is about returning to the moon.
What?
We haven't been in the moon in a while since Destiny 1,
Nothing
and
there.
a lot's
The
changed.
Dark Below raid from Destiny 1's coming back in Destiny 2.
Is it gonna be reworked or harder, or the same difficulty?
It's gonna be all
Go
new.
back. It isn't exactly what you thought it was.
There's like huge cracks.
Lore
ripped into
based
it.
or
Gamer,
just
Gamer,
like
did
Well,
you
it's
play the
fortress,
new raid?
and so the
Crown
context
of
of the
Sorrows?
I haven't
updated
attempted it yet. I'm
entirely.
working on my warlock now, my
This isn't
third
just about the
character.
hive
It's like
anymore.
We
720s
we
now. I
tried.
think.
We tried
about something else,
yesterday.
something
It was very hard because it's
terrifying.
7:40. We didn't get the ambulance 24 hours.
The moon this time around is something really scary.
Let's
Is
go
playing
group
on your
1A.
fear. in a way that hasn't
Group
happened
1A,
before.
Group
Before it
2B,
was,
is that what we're
it's a
doing?
big giant thing and it's
Yeah.
scary.
Yeah.
But now there's actual like some psychological elements to that.
How
do
long
you feel
has it
about
sat
that?
in silence, watching us? Much too long.
Having Eris Morn come back instantly signals to players the tone shift and change.
There's an undertone of threatening and psychological horror.
You're all insufferable!
I don't know what to use with Eagle. Anyone?
We want to tap
No
into
idea.
what makes Guardians afraid. What are their
do you-
worst fears?
Shadowkeep refers to the things that Eris unleashed
I
on the
can
solar
use with
system.
Eagle.
Nightmares are manifestations of a Guardian's
The
past.
second gun.
What if the villains that
That
you
is-
thought
deal with
were
the
well
monitors
into
of
the
the A
ground
side?
actually weren't?
Yeah.
and
Yes,
were being
okay.
resurrected by
Yes,
the
yes.
darkness.
Going to do it, it is front. 3, 2,
Eris is trying to figure out how
There's
to
nobody on
unleash
the
this kind of
terminal.
madness.
I would
So
just
she
do it,
needs your
okay.
help.
I would never done it, so I will just try.
Okay. You can't just kill them and make them go away.
What if you can't do all of the things that you've grown accustomed to doing?
Being unable to achieve what
It
you're
is
trying
back.
to achieve,
Ready?
how hard you try.
3, 2, 1, go.
1, go.
Players, they think we can deal with this.
It is slow.
We killed Crota, like we killed orcs. Like, no big deal, right? Well, you're gonna get there and you discover it's a bigger deal than you even thought it could be.
The darkness is actually a lot closer than you realized.
Oh, there we go. It's coming back.
Now you know
is middle.
my suffering.
3, 2, 1, go.
Oh.
Easy on Carl. Let Ben catch up.
Okay, wait.
It's been a year, basically.
at your
of just
monitor.
a constant
Yep, it's the
two-way
back.
dialogue
Okay.
with all of our passionate
3, 2,
players.
1, go.
Or
on the sides of it more. The number of green.
That's really
Kill your-
informed what it is that players want out of the Destiny game and how we're evolving, not just the story of the world, but
you're
what
going
happens
there.
to you as a guardian.
Come over to A. Kill the ads first before we focus on the boss.
We don't have
A bunch of
damage,
the work
just
that we're doing
yeah, we
is
might
about
as well
adding
just
depth to
chill.
the character
Chill and
sheet,
hang
you
out
know?
and
The
stay
teams
alive.
are thinking about how do we
I
want
tried
to
to
evolve
stick close
armor,
meanwhile.
get more stats into the game, get more player customization. How can we get the depth of pursuit for how you want to play with this awesome character you've been building now for, you know, some of us 5 years.
And like completely new ways of deepening the like character arc
DPS.
that we all know and love, and
Go
want to
for
be
it.
better.
DPS, kill a sniper, please.
In Shadowkeep, we are fundamentally evolving the systems and moving the world forward.
You want to bring some of that sci-fi element back to it, where it's
some like panels
or something. We've been dancing this line between, I'm like, are we RPG
Sniper
enough?
dead.
Are we not RPG enough? And now we're like, you know what? Screw it. Let's just go all in and just say like, hey, let's give players what they want.
Okay, just survive for now.
Allow them to kind of like customize the players and their habits and their game modes and all that stuff as much as they want to.
So in Shadowkeep, what we're doing is
Get
changing
ready
the
for
way
DPS.
that armor, perks, and mods
DPS
work
time.
pretty
Okay.
significantly.
Kill
Right
him.
now in the game, if you have an armor set that you like the look of, but you have another armor set that you like the way it plays, you're probably going to pick the one that you like the
Easy.
way it plays.
Oh.
Armor 2.0 is focused
I got
on
the sweet
allowing you
treat.
to take the mods that you've unlocked and apply them to any given piece of
That
armor.
sounds like
When I move my cursor over one of these mod
Fucking
sockets,
bullshit.
it immediately shows me
I
all
hate
the
this
mods that are
example.
available to me.
Personally, I'm excited about the artifact. Players just get to kind of like fidget with these knobs and switches and do all the things that they want to do.
When you get to this last tier, each of these perks gets relatively close to what an exotic might feel like. That's going to be a lot of fun. Going to be a lot of fun.
Finishing moves are a new thing for Shadowkeep. What's your favorite?
I mean, there's some crazy ones. For
The downside
hunter,
of the
this
ace
awesome
is
flourish
that
where he
you
actually
burn
does, like,
through your
spin
marksman
in front of
rifle
him,
armor
has
so
two
quick.
knives, and then just hits. I was like,
Use
what
an
the
MG.
heck? Like, what game is
Yeah, I
this?
kind of have to restock like twice.
Do you not have
Yeah,
sturdy
Titan
extended
finisher,
back?
He jumps in the air, pulls back,
no.
looks at his fist, and
Well, maybe you get the eagle bearer.
it's kind of like the dunk. There's so many different ways to dunk. You can behind the back, 360, cartwheel, whatever.
I mean, I'm using a sniper rifle 30 back does work on it, I think. I use stability. Easier.
Oh, by the way, I found out something.
Trying to figure out what's good for the game.
The time
what
when you
people
have
want,
to get
what
to
they're
the
even
elevator
asking
starts
for,
at the second
trying new
room, where the
ideas.
second key is.
I want to try.
So once you leave that room, the timer counts down. So we can easily get the first key and then
exotic heavy bow.
go
It's
to
actually a good call.
And I'm just working on figuring out some knockback, trying to see how big this. Okay, that's
If
probably
2
too
or
much,
3 people wouldn't
but
listen.
You get the idea.
That's fine.
I just went trace rifle, fire it on an enemy, and it creates a
me
big
too.
old crit spot. Here's a hand cannon that Victor's working on. It fires special
gonna
ammo,
make this?
and it's a little bit like a one-handed sniper.
Do you make it in? Yeah.
Of course.
Like, it's actually our only hand cannon with a scope on it. Right now, it kind of lights you on fire if you keep firing it too much. We'll see. Some people like it, some
Shit,
people are
can't
kind
do
of
it anymore.
but we'll hammer it all out.
All right, it's time. It's about to get loud in here. 1v1. 1v1 on the board.
Have you seen that when you get the key, it says normal in front of
the
it?
start of Shadowkeep is a
So-
renewed focus on PvP.
The key fragments for different difficulties or different.
We're updating labs to include some much-loved game types from the past.
Oh, cool.
We're
Thanks for the
also
buff, 61 magazine
redoing a
on my
bunch of the
fucking-
playlists and how they work. But
Oh,
the
my
really important
fucking
thing for players
restless.
to know is this is just the beginning. This is us
Dogs in
building
the
the
back.
foundation of what we're doing with the Crucible going forward.
Previously, you would have a 20, 40, 60-hour climb before you could do what's considered in-game content. And now you can pretty much do that immediately.
We want you to feel like you are in the end game from the moment you step on the planet.
Leveling up your guardian and becoming more powerful, overcoming dungeons, overcoming
Yellow
raids.
dog by escalator.
For the raid, we had multiple destinations that we were considering, and Black
No, I
Guardian
need-
was like
No,
immediately
I
top
know
of the
what I
list.
need to look out for that ammunition buff.
Yeah, I tried to call it out. Then all you have to do is just reload and.
With Forsaken, we've started finding more ways for players to customize and personalize their
need to
character
get used
and
to it myself,
differentiate
actually.
themselves. Shadowkeep's going to push even further in that direction.
The word, which is really guiding us in a bunch of ways, is depth. It's about experiential depth. When we look at how we're thinking about the next 3-5 years, it's really important to us.
So which group is getting Buddy and Lucy?
It's cool
No,
to have a game
I
that
don't
you can
mind.
invest in with your friends, tweak your
Me,
monster
silence
machine
and
and make
Scruffy
2%
on
better every
All right.
weekend, doing different things and figuring out how to craft this perfect build that you feel like is your own. Like, that is cool. There's nothing nerdy
Just
about
get
it. We're like happy to
Especially
own
AR
that.
guys.
We're gonna stand on that corner.
Okay, let's go.
As things change, if the game doesn't
Got
feel
it.
like it's changing to meet the new landscape, it just all fall down. Part of our DNA is finding different ways to bring people together. We needed a way to crush the barriers
That sounds
between
bad.
friends.
We all
if I
have
can
friends
get
who
plus.
could play Destiny,
Oh
who are
my
interested in it, but then we think about recommending it, like, oh man, you're gonna have to play about 40 hours by yourself,
Many.
and then you gotta pay all this money, and maybe you should just play something else. And that
Oh,
can't
why
be the
is it
story.
bugged? I
We
don't
need
get any
an
cards.
entry
What the
point
fuck?
for your friends to be able to get into Destiny.
This is just simply about bringing people together to make it easy for players to enter this universe.
There's a new entry point coming out in September
not
called
good.
New Light. And New Light is
Gone.
a free
60.
download experience.
Go for Buddy.
We're gonna start
Let's
off
lose
in the same place where
Really
Guardian
hitting
first
stuff.
came into the world.
Laptops.
Guardian.
Right behind you, Murgle.
Eyes up, Guardian.
More press on Buddy. Wait on Lucy. Wait on Lucy.
You started in the
Wait on Lucy,
Cosmodrome.
wait on Lucy.
Yeah, going back. Going back. Yeah, blast from the past.
We're going back.
Cheers,
Not going back to orbit, but it just might get us to the city.
Oh shit.
It's as easy as come in, make a character, play the amazing
Wait on Lucy.
introduction to the game.
More press on. Guys,
land in
the
the
body.
tower,
And then we'll set them loose to open up the world as they
Body,
see
body,
fit.
body, more.
Have sort of an array of potential in front of you.
More body.
You can just start playing the game and get into some of the same activities that your friends might be playing. The campaigns from D to Year 1, the Red War, Curse of the Sires, Warmind.
Oh, now we get cards again.
Every world we have will be available for them to explore and to free roam and to do bounties on.
Body,
Every
more.
quality, whether they're playing with friends or matchmaking, every competitive multiplayer map, the D2 Year 1 raids like Leviathan, full access to Gambit, the hybrid mode that we have.
GG,
All
I
these
just want
things
to
are
wipe and
available
start
to
over.
them for nothing.
We can.
You need more DPS on body, so swap.
Yeah.
Yeah,
What do you think, somebody?
I'll go on over to Buddy.
We've always said that Destiny is best when you play it with your friends, and we're trying
That
to
was
make
kind of
it
weird for
easier.
the whole
So
fight.
if your friends
All
were
the
playing
cards
Destiny on
from
different
the aces that
platforms,
didn't proc
we're adding
until I
cross
died.
save so that you can
It
move
felt like
between
only
the
2 or
different
3
platforms and play
people
wherever your
shoot
friends
it on
are.
Buddy.
Like if I'm playing,
Lucy was going down
like
like.
my PC, I should have my character go with me. We want Destiny to meet you wherever you want to play, so that's incredibly
I go
important
back
for
to
us.
Assault Rifle for this one.
We wanted cross save before we shipped Destiny 2, right? Like a bunch of it was built.
Just
We
play safe.
Couldn't get there for capital R reasons.
Just play safe and kill Buddy.
And many of those reasons have disappeared.
You're
So
fine.
we are headed
I
full
was
steam
eating,
ahead
I was
on
not
that one. We got to
expecting
figure
that.
out how we're going to
Sorry.
get there and how we're going to give the players what they want.
As culture as we can get. Thanks, buddy. Our original vision for Destiny
Let's
was
go.
a
Ready?
world that would evolve and change.
So gamer is on Lucy, so I'm going on Buddy.
really hard into that because we
Okay,
believe that's
I'll go.
where the future of Destiny is.
That's Buddy.
The long horizon for Destiny is to become an evolving world. You know, you're going to tune in to see what's going to happen next.
We can completely build Destiny in the vision that we want it to be in. A vision that isn't dictated by a commercial model or a business plan, but our creative vision and what we want to do for our players and what they want us to do with Destiny.
More press on Lucy. Lucy.
I feel like our work isn't done.
Gone,
we have
gone,
a series of missions that we need to finish before I think we have Destiny in the place that it needs to be, and we're back to, I guess, finish the fight.
Wait on Buddy.
so to
Wait on
speak.
Buddy.
Gone.
60.
360. Welcome, gamers, to the Q&A portion of the stream. Someone's very enthusiastic back there. There we go. There's a bunch more enthusiasm. Welcome to the Q&A portion of the stream. If you know who I am, you're probably pretty familiar with me doing Q&A stuff. If you don't know who I am, I'm here to embarrass myself in front of thousands of people for the second time in a week. And I'm also your personal Destiny search engine. Most people just call me Dado.
360?
I have a lot of these, by the way. I don't think I have time to read all of them.
No, it wasn't 360.
I'm
Sorry.
here.
My
That was
bad.
really, really loud.
Okay, Buddy, see you.
Buddy.
And we're going to talk a little story action for Shadowkeep.
More pressure on
The
Lucy.
first thing I'm going to start with is Eris
First
evil?
Buddy. More on Lucy.
She's kind of seemed evil, but at the same time, like not
dead.
evil, like sort of in a driftery way. Good job,
Eris is definitely not your sterling like character like Zavala.
Oh my God!
Lucy's revenge.
She's, this enigmatic, like
Took
mysterious
out his
character with
father.
tons of power. It's always on the edge of every new threat that's
That was a
coming.
close one.
And so she's decidedly not evil. I can say that pretty firmly. And what she is the one who's going to take us into a new threat and a new place that we have to actually investigate. Because she's come back. She's been gone for a long time. And there's been a lot of parts of the Eris story that we've gotten hints at. You know, we've seen lore books. We've seen what she did after
I'm currently on a sharpshooter because of the aces
We know that she's
set
worked
which I
with
tried.
Microsoft
You want me to switch back to survivalist?
all those journeys that she's done.
How many
brought her
survivalists
back
we got?
to the moon. a moon
I
that
am
we
so
thought
happy.
we had
You
left
three.
behind, that we'd kill the threats there.
I
Well,
think
she's discovered
Mogul and
something
Scarfi.
even darker in the dark below.
I'm game.
In the dark below. I see what you did there. Dark
Scruffy
below.
and
Didn't drop my pen.
Silence, are you,
Speaking of Marsov and all that, I'll pose this question to you. Is this connected to any of the events of Forsaken? Is this connected to Mara? Are we going to see any sort of link between the two?
Yeah, I could
We aren't talking about Mara specifically in Shadowkeep.
Okay.
This is an Eris story, but like what we're doing here is we Dreaming City was a really fun way of exploring like the deep lore of Destiny, right? Like we had Truth to Power, and we had all the curse weeks and stuff like that.
Yeah,
I was
the
definitely
Marisov vignettes.
Marisov vignette. So this is like we want to do that, but like for Eris, right?
Right.
Like we want to just go in there and be like, there's so much stuff. Like you said, she's a super enigmatic character. Like she could totally appear to be evil. Like she uses the powers of darkness and sources all her magic from the hive.
Right.
So who's on which one?
Why? Like what is all that?
Yeah, and she's doing it to protect humanity. That is like her mission. She's had for a long time. And you think back Eris's entire journey, what happened to her? Her fire team
I need
was
security on
slaughtered
3.
by Crota, and she barely survived and transformed herself. And she crawled back to like rally people to destroy this threat that would have consumed the last city and all of the rest of humanity. And then she saw Oryx was coming too, and she worked with all these forces that players and everyone else in the city had no idea were around to try to stop it.
Can't come there.
She does things that no one else can. And she's doing that one more time.
Well, she's persevering a lot. I feel like eventually,
so
get over it. Like, fire
Game
team's
goes on
dead, but
3. What was
we
the
got
other
Crota,
spot that
right?
was
Like,
empty?
give it up, lady.
Where Ghost can go?
But
I think that's like not fair entirely, maybe because
no, I know. I'm just messing around.
I think since Pascal is not here, so 2 is empty for sure.
I
don't know. Game is taking 3 already.
What's going on with Aldrin and Marsov? Like
2,
Aldrin, we kind of got like a cutscene.
So it is 2 then.
It's like, all right, that's it.
Yeah, I need support
and then there's no resolution on that at all.
I would love to sit here and talk about Aldrin. That's a conversation for another time. Yeah, and
I have been missing someone on number 4.
Because I'm super excited about what you're going to expose. It's not just
yeah, but you started the fight, so I can't join you.
It's not just about nightmares, which are now infesting our moon.
White
it's about the history
white.
there. It's about what's
White
changed
it is.
since our last
Scruffy. It is white.
The moon that we
No,
remember
I'm
from people who
solo
played
this,
Destiny
no
1,
problem.
a lot has happened since they were last there.
Well, that's actually one of my next questions.
Is, you have to die again
is the moon different compared to Destiny 1 now? Because we had the Hellmouth, and that was pretty intricate design for the hive and everything. How is that changing in Shadowkeep? Because a lot of people are gonna say, we've already been to the moon. Like,
well, it's twice as big as the moon you remember.
Yeah.
Twice as big.
Twice as big. And as you might see, there's a giant
I'm in middle of the fight
now.
I'm gonna get restuck as well.
And there's mysterious entities, nightmares that are pushing out everywhere. There's also smaller stories that have been uncovered because of all of this this chaos and happening in that place. The Fallen have a new place that they've set up, and they have their own reasons for doing that. The cracks of divided places you've been before, and they're going to change how you play and you spiral and move through.
I have 6
We're going to discover old stories from who knows how long ago with characters that you remember, and they're going to expose more of what actually is coming in the future.
I have
Are we going to see any potential new characters popping in?
Oh, we get that some on the way.
Well, there's one of my favorite characters. I'm not going to say it
more
though,
in
spoilers.
Okay, fine.
I'm not going to tell you that.
That's fine.
I
have 5
sharp. And I read through all the scripts.
Okay.
Yeah, they changed it obviously.
Consider me intrigued.
It was 3.
I guess one of the final questions
I mean,
I have
if you had
is
6
why
before you died,
as
you're also gonna get 6
any
back.
other storyline that you guys might have considered.
that makes sense.
But if you had below 2,
internally,
he changed.
It wasn't like that.
Is a lot like
He
the
changed your
players that were
server,
talking about
so
Destiny
he had
as
a
fans.
0
We're fans of our own
ammo,
game.
so we came here
We're
and
fans
he...
first of Destiny.
Yeah, exactly.
And
Doesn't work
Moon
anymore.
is a fan favorite.
The carrot step in. Let's clear first and see. I think one spot was still not taken.
What about the moon? We just don't go there anymore. We should go back. What's been happening on the moon? Wait, is that on the moon? And et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. It turns into this fervor and excitement that, okay, we're going back to the moon. How do we make that work?
Right.
And
4 is ready?
the thing about every destination is you
Wait, everyone
play
got
through what we can release and what we can show and the stories we have.
One. Yes.
But there's always more.
Okay,
There's
3,
always
2,
like another
1.
horizon or another like deep depth
Go inside.
or another like entire region that is not yet explored. And
Who's got
I
crossbow
consider
back?
every place we go on Destiny to have more stories that
I
are
just
just waiting
start
for
in
us
front.
to like find
Okay.
the
I'll get
right
back to
tools
it.
to do.
Okay,
Absolutely.
Gamer,
The moon
you
has
go.
some great
Okay.
stories.
Yeah, I will have some follow-up questions
do the
related to
grenade.
story stuff later in the show, but that is just something I kind of wanted to know, like, you know, why this one? Were you guys working on maybe other storylines that maybe just didn't work out, or you want like, let's save that for later, or like, maybe we scrap that all together, or was it just like, this is happening, like, we want to go to the moon next, like, let's do it?
It's mostly that.
Yeah,
I think
the passion comes first.
The passion comes first. I think we're constantly thinking, like, as he said, we're all players of this game, and we're all like, oh man, yeah, what is happening on the moon, and what is happening to all these stories that we've been exploring for a while, and like, you know, it's just something. It's whatever is most exciting to us.
Yeah, and I think it's a relatable feeling that we're going after too. I mean, the moon is a place that was very dear to a lot of players' hearts, but it's also new to a lot of other players. And so, like, I consider it like you take your best friend back to your hometown. You haven't been there in 5 years, and it's changed. Like what has been torn down, what is there, what still remains. You're going to explore it. And you'll be like, oh, my favorite Chinese place is gone, and now it's an organic grocery store. No, I'm going to go buy all the lettuce. You know, you're going to have. There's going to be these moments where you're going to rediscover everything, and it's going to have meaning for you, and then it's going to have meaning for your friend in different ways.
And I think it's also really exciting on top of Light 2, right? Because like the moon was like the big destination in old D1, and you're just like, okay, yes, we're going there, or I'm gonna bring all my friends there. Like, I can bring anyone there.
I was even calling New Light First Light for a while, and First Light was the big moon map.
Right, exactly.
So,
You make a little look at First Light. Just a little bit when you're running around the moon.
Oh, look forward to it.
Big nostalgia factor.
All right, do you guys have anything else to add before we transition here?
One thing, like when you talk about Marasov, the thing that I really loved about Dreaming City as someone who played it at home was going to the vignettes and every few weeks. And we really loved how that was a new piece of Destiny, like this Dreaming City cycle type of thing, and how you play it. And we're trying to instill those lessons into Shadowkeep as well. Gotcha. So look for cool lore drops like that over time.
Oh my God,
Dreaming City.
Cool. All right, well, thank you guys very, very much for joining me.
Thanks.
I'm gonna rotate you guys out for some new guys.
Too many ads
and,
behind
don't forget
us.
to take your mug.
Oh.
Otherwise, I get yelled at.
My mug, you can't have it.
All right, fair enough.
Do you want to
Next
skip
to
a
the
round?
stage, we have Justin and Del. Welcome. Welcome.
Yeah, it's on 4, big
You
guy.
guys, I have to grill you guys
Because
a little bit more than the story guys. Story guys
We're
like,
just
let's have a little fun
it's-
little intro. But now we're getting into systems
four,
and
I
the
think.
seasons
4.
and that kind of stuff,
Are
the
you
real
ready?
nitty gritty. So
Four ready?
I got to grill you guys a little bit more. So
Ready?
let's start with
3,
Sandbox.
2,
Let's go.
Sandbox changes have been limited to approximately once per season. To many people, they think these need to happen a little more frequently. Are there any plans to change that? And are there any barriers to more frequent updates?
Did they touch the rate?
We made the commitment to do a
NPC or
change
something?
every season to really look at the sandbox and how it was
think it's
playing.
easier.
So we're going to
Yeah.
keep that. Like we think that's a good cadence. Every season there's like some big update to the sandbox and how it's playing. Making
Yeah, don't you
rethink
think
how
that
you're building your
enemies
monster
are
killing
easier to
machine.
kill?
Okay.
The real hard part is it takes time to do those balance updates. Like we have to look at data, the team has to get into play tests,
Well,
we're
they
looking
slow
at
down the
community
movement of
feedback,
them.
we're like trying to isolate how we balance it, and it's in a game like Destiny, it's big, so it's
It
not
makes
just
it a
like
lot
balancing
easier.
for one activity.
Yeah.
It's like how do we balance it in strikes? What's the impact over here? And so it takes time, and whenever we're taking time doing
he's
that,
left?
we're not building content. And so it's just a hard balance for us to find like,
Damn,
hey, what's
that
the
was a
right
lot of
amount
damage.
of focusing on balancing and tuning, what's the right amount about making new rewards and pursuits, and adding the depth that we talked about earlier. Like,
Right.
you know, we want to update some of the systems, and we want to like make the game more interesting and like add more challenge in the game. How do we do that? It's hard to balance those.
Okay, that's fair.
Big guy on 3.
Another kind of big topic question. Are there any plans to completely separate PvE and PvP balancing? I know you guys are capable of
Three dead.
adjusting the damage of weapons in
Three ready.
PvE. Do you
Three
feel
ready.
like there's a need for that separation? Is there
3,
a
2,
reason
1,
why you
let's go.
haven't? I imagine if there is not going to be a separation, it's probably related to the same reasons you guys have been giving in the past. Your thoughts?
So a thing that we've always thought was super important for Destiny is that you have a single Guardian with a single kit and set of abilities that you can take everywhere. We give you a bunch of different experience, whether it's like raid experiences or strike experiences or PvP, or just more casual like free roam, and that you're the same Guardian playing in the same way. And a thing that I think we do pretty well is our shooting and our like gunplay feels good. And part of the reason why it feels good is that muscle memory of like just the same expectation of seamlessly going from your brain into the controller,
damage
into the
from
bullet.
for
And that
backside?
requires a level of consistency across the board.
Backside
It doesn't
and
mean
damage
that shooting a Thrall in the head
points.
is going to take the exact same number of bullets as shooting a Guardian in the head.
Damage.
There is some
So we can
variance
one-phase
that we bake in and some balancing that we do.
Yeah, okay.
But we don't want to split them, because we think if we do that over time, it's going to cause us to lose that muscle memory and that feeling of a single Guardian.
I want you to go into any activity and like, I play in Crucible and then I get a gun and kind of wonder like, well, what does this do when I take into strikes? And they're not going to be optimized
Get ready
for every
for double
activity.
chunk.
Even today, we do balance separate parts of the game differently.
It is on.
We want
It
you
is
to
on
build a
two.
loadout
It is on
that's
two.
customized to the challenges
Two
you
is fine.
to tackle. But we also don't want to go so far that you feel
Two
like,
and one.
oh, I'm just never going to participate in that part of the game. It's not worth it.
Okay.
Two's dead.
I'll take it easy on you guys on the next question.
ready.
Keep going hard.
Are you ready?
Let's get a little
ready?
business out of the way.
3, 2, 1,
Is
let's
Forsaken
go.
and the annual pass getting a price drop? Do I need them to play Shadowkeep?
Yeah, so what we're doing starting today is
Wait,
that everything
what
that
the
we've released
fuck?
in Destiny 2 up until now, so base Destiny 2 game, the expansions, Forsaken, and the annual pass,
Base dog on
that's all
3.
being bundled together and dropped to just $40.
Okay.
So,
Dog on
and
3.
that's starting today. But we don't want to require any of that content to play new stuff. Like Luke and Mark said earlier, we want all of our expansions moving forward to be simple and a la carte. So if you like
Well,
the
my
stuff
bad.
that
It
we're
was
showing
me.
off in
Sorry.
Shadowkeep, you can just go and click purchase. You don't have to do
It
the
was me.
complicated thing like, wait, which pieces
So
of the
wait for
content do I
two,
own and which of
because-
these 11 SKUs should I buy?
Right.
And it's the same thing for
Get
recommending
ammo
to your
if you need
friend.
it.
Regardless of how much Destiny they've played, what they own, it's all the same entry point, which is just picking up Shadowkeep for $35.
Shadowkeep's $35. So we're keeping
Well,
sort of
then
that seasonal pace of content. Is that a la carte going to also apply to
What's
seasons?
John doing here?
Yeah, so we want the seasons to be a la carte because there were a lot of things that I like
Refill ammo.
personally about the annual pass, but asking people to pre-purchase $35 up front of a year of content when we didn't even announce what the name of some of the seasons were, I think is not as cool as it could be. Like,
Big guy on
it's
two.
you can wait and once you watch the trailer, once you hop in and see some of the
Two's
content
fine.
yourself, then decide if you want to buy in. And so each of the seasons will be available. But we also want to make sure if you jump into Shadowkeep, we're not immediately
four
putting
ready?
our hand back out asking for more money. So Shadowkeep is going to give you season 8 or whatever season it is starting then.
3,
for
2,
free as well.
1, go.
So if I buy Shadowkeep in like January and it's season 10 or whatever, I would get season 10 as well.
Yeah, you'll just get that season.
Brilliant.
So
My
you don't have to
last
do the
go on
complicated
plan.
question of like, which part of this premium content, like, do I need to buy? Just jump into Shadowkeep and you're going to have everything.
Or you could just decide to get season 10.
Yep.
Okay. I guess that kind of covers that question. Let's go to another kind of hardball.
DPS phase, isn't it?
The community kind of
DPS phase right away.
laments the loss of things
backside.
like new strikes, new PvP maps, and
do the
otherwise
fronts.
new
1
additions
AP
to
ready.
what they would consider staples of the Destiny experience. How valuable do you think
There's
those
a
things
dog on
are
4,
compared to making
guys.
new activities? And are we ever going to see stuff like strikes, new PvP maps, and that kind of stuff return outside of major expansions like this?
They're super valuable.
Yeah,
I mean,
top that,
you see it with
twice.
New Light, like they're going to be the entry point that we want to get all players into and playing together. So they're really important for us, and the team has big lists of things that they want to do. We've tried some of it in the past, like for season 6, we did a lot of Gambit quality of life updates, and there was new maps for it.
Big guy
It's
on
just,
3.
Again,
Big
the
guy on
challenge with a
3.
game this wide is we can't do
And-
that all the time. And so we're
one,
definitely
and
focusing
one.
like season 8. We're coming back to the Crucible.
3's down.
Like, we
Three
know
dead.
we spent too long, like we haven't done enough for it. We had a lot of commitments with Annual Pass 1, but now we're coming back. And I think over the, we might not answer
3
all
ready.
the actual game in every single season, but over the course of a year, we're probably going to touch a lot of different parts of the game.
Right. I hear you guys. I can hear you through Twitch chat screaming, "Ask about PvP." The question, it's here. It's for a different person, but it's here. Don't worry, I got you guys.
Yeah, and another thing I want to say there is like we tried to change up the formula with annual pass and with the seasonal model over the last year. Where if you remember before when we did DLCs, we would put a little bit of every single type of content in each one of the drops. But then that meant the whole team was working for months or years on just that, and there would be a long drought of content. And what we're trying to do now is every couple weeks, every single month, we're releasing something and keeping the world continuously evolving. But that means that we can't release everything at the same time. And so we've tried to revolve around and touch different parts of the content. But yeah, and for example, like I think we underserved PvP in the last year. That was a mistake with how we planned out the annual pass.
All the way.
And we're going to correct that starting in Season 8. And then we want to walk around and touch all the other pieces of content.
Yeah. So would you say that there is a chance that we'll see like a new strike throughout the year with the seasons? Like I don't think
certainly possible. Like we haven't planned out exactly what's in each one of our seasons.
It's not
but
working.
No type of content
Fucking
is off the table.
high.
I mean, like I kind of want to throw it back to you. Like what do you think the seasons are missing right now?
Yeah, I mean, again, it just kind of comes back to a lot of those staples of the Destiny experience. The game has grown very wide and just not very tall. Which is something you guys are addressing in Shadowkeep.
You go for.
So I think the community would definitely like to see, you know, some strikes come back, a couple PvP maps, even like
and then go to 4. Somebody
some
needs to go to
Destiny
4.
That's
fine.
Bring back, you know, Rust Lands and whatever else people want, Twilight Gap and all that. So I think people would absolutely love to see that. I guess final question for you guys. Do you worry about being able to produce the volume of content you produced this year without the help of Activision and the other studios? You know, because the community is insatiable. You'll never be able to make enough stuff to keep people entertained. And
yeah, I mean,
how do you guys feel about that?
Working with Activision, they were great partners. Vicarious Visions, High Moon Studios, they've made a ton of the cool content. And
good luck, everyone.
That
Damn it, I didn't get it.
Really
Fuck this game.
A thing that we did, though, is we knew that this was going to end at the end of the annual pass. So what we've been working on for the last year is reconfiguring the team to make sure that we're in place where the set of content expectations that we've set for players, we can continue delivering on every single season.
Let me do the ritual thing.
Delivering a season's worth of content that Destiny players have come to expect every single season moving forward.
I got it! Yes!
And then,
hey, congrats, man.
Just like the
you always need to do this.
Does that mean he wants to give it to me to be a nice guy?
Activity content. We're not being able to do things you just asked about. Like, how about servicing the existing stuff? And if we're getting that big, so it's really hard to like. And this is the challenge. We haven't figured out the right balance for it. We're going to keep working on it, but it's going to be a question of like, what's the cool new adventures? What's the cool new ways that we're going to challenge your monster killing machine every season? But how are we updating the rest of the game to also feed in and challenge your, like, give you new challenges for your character?
So everybody open the chest and then they walk.
Healthy and sustainable for our team.
Yeah.
It's real hard servicing this big at this cadence.
Better than nothing. Better than nothing.
Be around for a long time. We want this team to be excited, to be able to.
Oh god, I really wanted this. I'm sorry about the guy I subsidized.
What did yours roll at?
So that's a hard
what damage?
Yeah, because the thing is, like, we have mailing lists inside the studio where people talk about. With this many people, not everybody knows everything that's going on. So hey, is there going to be a strike in the new release? Are you going to go do this quality of life update?
But I am on
we all want to touch all the parts of Destiny as fast as we can, but we also don't want to ask the team to work every single weekend. Like we want sensible, healthy, like excited folks in the office, and we're always trying to hold that line because there's always more stuff to do than we have time for, right?
Right. Do you have anything else that you want to add before we transition here?
Of course.
All good? All right. Well, thank you guys very much for joining me. I can grill you guys a little bit more. And we're going to rotate here to
everyone needs to do the loadout, and I'm over.
Koa and Raylene. Welcome to the table.
Hello. Fucking
excited to be here.
Claps all around. You guys are here to talk about New Light, something that I think a lot of people have wanted for the game, even though they maybe will not be engaging with it themselves, just like a lot of veteran players. Obviously, we already play the game, but everyone for a while has thought, man, they should really make Destiny 2 available for free for a lot of people, because you've done it in the past, right? You've done 3 weeks on Blizzard, and then like, for a month if you have PlayStation Plus, and then maybe there was something, I don't even know if there was anything with Xbox. So what exactly am I getting access to
Oh, I
with
got a new recommendation.
New Light, and when do I get access to it?
I'm doing
Yeah,
the raid
yeah,
5
it's really
times.
exciting.
Just spill it all out for me.
Yeah.
Okay.
So for New Light, it's a new entry point.
It is my
for
fifth time as
Destiny,
well, so I got.
Right. So what that means is
Seven.
that
Well,
it's
on
tailored
this
towards new
this
players,
character,
but all
though.
players can experience it.
Nice.
So if you make a new character, and if you're a
it
veteran
should be-
player, you'll experience the New Light flow.
Right,
And
let me
it's
try.
exciting
This is
because
the wolf.
it's not a
Oh.
trial, right? It's not an expansion. It's not a different part of the game. It is the game. It's Destiny, and it's free. Which is
Very good.
yeah, which
Very,
is super
very good.
exciting. Yeah, exactly.
All right, guys.
And as Raylene said,
Thank
it's
you.
the whole game, right? So it's not just
You're
some
welcome.
subsection portion of it. It's the